Good morning. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors regular session, February 24, 2026. Roll call, please.
Schwartz.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Grant.
Here.
Kurtenbach.
Here.
Leyland.
Here. Would everyone please join us for a moment of silence as we reflect on our actions today. Now would you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 1 is the agenda received as proposed or as amended.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The agenda is received. Item 2 is public comment. Is there anyone in the audience today that would like to speak on something that is not on today's agenda? Anyone online? Hearing none, we'll move on to claims and payments. This is a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approved expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue payments against the various settlement of such claims as allowed.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Weidner.
Good morning, Board. Our total bill payment today is $297,515.62. Out of that, from the 60/40 fund, we're paying $3,865.38. And there, this long ago, I can't remember. Just one thing I would mention, paying Axon Enterprises for annual TASER certificate, well, I don't know if it's annual, TASER certifications, $36,187.76. And I think that's the only significant item today. The other thing that is reported this week is payroll. Our total paid this week was $1,642,122.75. Everything appears to be in order.
Any questions? This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Grant.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Kurtenbach.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 4, receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, engineer. I want to give you a brief road conditions update. The motivators are out on the gravel roads this morning, cleaning up some of the drifting that's been occurring. The trucks are not currently out. They are busy hauling sand. They can start mixing it with more salt and then distributing it to Alpine and Port City. We are anticipating more snow tomorrow night, and so the trucks will be out first thing Thursday morning if that happens. The forecast is for 1 to 2 inches, so we'll be busy most likely on Thursday morning. Can I answer any questions for you at this time?
Kathy, I just want to shout out for the crew. This has been a very troubling weather condition we were dealing with this past weekend. I received several calls and shared with you in one of them. And I represented Public Works folks. One guy was telling me he made it home for Christmas Eve 1 out of 5 years because he's usually out in a snowstorm. We had a crew that had a very impossible job to deal with this past weekend. Just want to say thank you for their time. I know we had an incident, but they have big pieces of equipment they're trying to move around in tight spots. I do appreciate what they do.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I will pass that on. I know the conditions were not ideal. It was a lot of snow. It was very wet snow. It came overnight, and as you know, we do not have a night crew, so it's really hard to. When people see Iowa DOT routes, they're mainly cleared off much sooner than we are. Yeah, it's been a lot of work the last few days for city and county crews, so it's just been not perfect conditions. So that's this is what we get when we don't have ideal conditions. So, thank you.
Anyone else?
Good morning, Board. Sandy Smith, County Recorder. This morning I'm excited to announce that we will be launching our Honor Rewards program for veterans possibly you've heard me talk about this before. This is a community service made available through the Recorder's Office in conjunction with our software vendor to acknowledge our nation's veterans for their sacrifices to our country. To participate, veterans record their DD-214s with our office or any office, and then they apply for an ID card that is sent to them. And that card is shown at participating businesses to receive discounts, percentage discounts, fixed dollar discounts, or special promotions or incentives. So our job now is to get veterans signed up and businesses signed up. So there are gonna be 2 links on my website, and Gabby's gonna help me with social media, get this out there. To be listed, what a business would do is go to the link, sign up. They will get promotional updates. They'll be highlighted in, says, be promoted in email updates sent to the Honor Rewards members, receive promotional materials identifying their business as an Honor Rewards partner, and all this is done through our vendor. We don't have to do any of this. It's all free of charge as part of our package. So I kind of took a look at what other counties and states were doing, some examples. We have discounts for admission off museums, obviously restaurant discounts, accounting services, and one county in Iowa offers free passport photos for their veterans. So that's something you would like to explore, I'd be happy to get on the agenda for that. So anyway, in the next week or 2, I'll be working with Yolanda's office to also get, veterans who have already recorded their military records signed up as well. So we're excited. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else with an update?
I have an update. I just wanted to remind everybody that we have a special election today for Waterloo Council Ward 2. We are using vote centers again, which again is a cost savings to taxpayers. So we have 2 vote centers open, Central Christian Church and Crossroads Community Church. Polls are already open. They opened at 7 and will close at 8. Hopefully turnout will be a little bit better today than what we've been seeing at the counter. So I'm hoping people will get out and vote. I did do a interview with KWW all yesterday, so hopefully that will generate some awareness about the election today. Also, I would appreciate your guys' feedback if you have given any more thought to doing the mailer for letting voters know about the change to supervisor districts. I just want to know if there's interest in doing that, and then I would like to know if you prefer to do that before the primary election or the general election. And you don't have to, I just, obviously, don't have to give it to me today, but, and then also, if we want to do household or individual, those are just things I need to know, especially as we're working through the budget, because if we want to do that for the general, I'd like to add it to our budget that's currently not in there.
I think we had some discussion on it. I think there seemed to be interest in doing it, it's just the timing thing.
We need to do a work, add it to
And
the
I'm happy
agenda.
to,
I'm
yeah.
assuming we need to vote on
We would,
that.
we would, but I think, yeah, and the timing or whatever, if we wanted to do it, and we needed to know the costs exactly and that type of thing, and we worked with Gabby, I suppose, to design something like that, I don't know.
No, we would
No,
take care of
do
that
it.
from our
Okay,
office.
super.
We actually brought that up the week you were gone,
Okay,
and I guess the discussion kind of thought was doing a postcard to the household.
that would be my suggestion. It's about $10,000 cheaper to do that. Also, I think people see that more than us sending out another voter acknowledgement card that they already have.
We're just needing a dollar figure then for doing that.
Yep, I had already given that to you guys, which is about $13,000.
It was just confirming kind of, I think, all the information, and mailing dates and that type of thing.
But yeah, if I have that, then I just really need to know if,
So maybe we
We
should
want
put the
to do it
item on the
before the
agenda,
primary.
just for us to have the discussion and see if we all come together on timing and that type of thing. Thank you. Anyone else with an update? Anyone online with an update? Thank you. Moving on to item 5, minutes approved for February 17th, 2026.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, minutes are approved. Item 6 is the consent agenda. The following items are acted upon by a single resolution unless someone wishes to pull the item off for discussion.
So moved.
Second.
It's a roll call vote. James, is your name?
Paul,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item number 7, contracts and agreements. Resolution that the lowest responsible bid received from Iowa Plains Siding Inc., Slater, Iowa. The letting was held February 17th at 9:05 a.m. for project L7626, pavement markings in Blackhawk County, with a total bid of $177,471.52. The engineer's estimate was $185,867.53. Be awarded and direct the chair to sign resolution authorizing the county engineer to sign the contract and to receive and place on file the contractor's bond and certificate of insurance as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, county engineer.
So moved.
Second.
Good morning again, board. So as you recall, we did open bids last Tuesday in the boardroom here. We did receive 4 bids. At that time, the low bid was from Farner Asphalt Sealers. They did tell us shortly thereafter that they did miscalculate when putting together their bid, which explains why their bid was so low. They did ask us to withdraw their bid. We have done that, or I'm recommending that you take the second low bid from Iowa Plains Siding for $177,000. We have worked with them before and they do good work, so we're confident they will be able to get our payment markings completed by the end of the fiscal year.
Questions for Kathy?
I've asked you this before and I've since forgotten. What's the average lifespan on those pavement markings? 2, 3, 4 years typically?
A lot of it depends on the traffic volume on the roadway and then, of course, the weather conditions throughout the year. If we get a lot of snow and ice and we have to be out there scraping, cleaning off the roads, say, our busy roads only last 1 year. So we have our roads grouped into 3 categories. Our busiest roads we restripe every year. And stop bars we restripe every year.
I'm glad to see that too, because there's so many times when those markings aren't clear, like in the winter in different places, like in the communities, and you see those would be helpful, so appreciate that. Thank you. This is a resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 8, other business. Resolution of the Board of Supervisors is empowered under authority of the Iowa Code 321.255 and 321.285 to impose limitations on designated highways, that the county engineer has completed a review, and that the Board of Supervisors repeal speed zone 56 in its entirety, and that the following speed limits be established and appropriate signs be erected at the locations described as follows. At speed zone 111 at 30 miles per hour at Gilbertville Road from Iowa 297 northwesterly 1,000 feet. Kathy, did you want to speak to these or individually or not?
So, good morning again. I don't think you're reading the most current
Yeah.
version. The most current version should be Gilbertville Road from Raymond Road northwesterly approximately 550 feet.
Sorry, can you say that
Yeah,
one more
you
time?
need it.
Gilbertville Road from Raymond Road northwesterly approximately 5,500 feet.
And I'll move from that.
And
Is Raymond different than Iowa 297?
technically no. That was a
Okay.
former DOT route, Raymond Road, and they gave it to the county, 25 years ago. So that's one reason we are just rescinding both of these speed limits.
Okay.
And we have had requests from neighbors, particularly on the south portion of the road. The first mile, the first 5,000 feet, it's very residential in nature. We wanted to lower the speed limit extend the distance of the speed limit as you're traveling north on that road. So both of these 2 resolutions cover Gilbertville Road between Indian Creek and Raymond Road. And we're just extending the speed limit, the 30-mile-per-hour portion further north. And we have worked with the sheriff's office, talked to patrol, talked to the sheriff about doing this, and they are in agreement with us.
And we've got those changes, so.
Yep, I have the most up-to-date one, yeah. And then I have a motion from Rich.
A second.
It's the resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Brant,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. So in the second one, is there a correction as well?
Yes. Yes. The second one would be add speed zone sign number 112, 40 miles per hour, Gilbertville Road from approximately 5,500 feet northwesterly of Raymond Road to Indian Creek Road.
So moved.
Second.
No, that's great. Any
Just two more
questions?
spots to get
Any more
speeding
questions?
tickets.
Please answer as your name is called.
Paul,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item C, resolution to approve the minor plat requested by Kevin Keegan to plat 7.99 acres of land zoned AR agricultural residential and A agricultural to split off a house from the farmland located at 7307 East Rhinebeck Road pursuant to section 354.8 Code of Iowa, and if approved, the county auditor be directed to certify a copy of this resolution for the Blackhawk County Recorder.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, I guess we're gonna go with, anybody have any questions for anyone? This is just a plat, right? Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item D, resolution to approve the minor plat request by Ron and Jennifer Worrell to plat 4.69 acres of land zoned AR agricultural residential to create 3 residential lots located south of 7851 Big Woods Road pursuant to section 354.8 Code of Iowa, and if approved, that the county auditor be directed to certify a copy of this resolution for the Blackhawk County Recorder.
So moved.
Second.
Again, this is a plat, I assume there's no questions? All right, please answer as your name is called.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item E, motion to direct the county auditor to advertise for a public hearing to be held at 9:05 a.m. on Tuesday, March 10th, in the boardroom of the Blackhawk County Courthouse on the proposed ordinance number 77-305 from a request submitted by Rachel Zapatil to rezone 2.45 acres of land from A agricultural to AR agricultural residential located at 301 West Marquee Road.
So moved.
Second.
This is a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
same sign. Motion passes. Item F, resolution to approve, and before I start this, I was gonna say, when I read this yesterday, and Nate, I'm glad you're here, because if you have any, question on this, this said to approve the allocation of 80,000, and I think you were just really asking for the authorization to order. Not
Correct,
to,
I guess if there's a difference in
there is,
semantics there,
there
okay,
is,
then,
because the allocation and the funding out wouldn't come until after July 1.
Correct.
And I thought you were just wondering that.
I just need to go ahead to get them ordered, yes.
Okay, so, would you also be all right where it said of 80,000, to say not to exceed at 80,000, would that be all right?
If you wanna do that, that's fine, and if it goes over, I'll make up, I mean, we're doing a trade-in with their stuff, so I'm not 100% sure exactly what it's gonna be, it should be right around that mark, so, but if you wanna do up to 80, or not to exceed 80,000, and if it goes over, then
Well, no, well, that's fine, that's why I was happy to ask you, but I just knew it went from 50 to 80,000, so we were just trying to make sure we had that all covered, and so whichever, but we can leave it at 80.
From what my guy that's got bids and everything said, $80,000 should cover us.
Okay, I know thank you for the listing of all the information that you were ordering and stuff, I did, so.
Thank you for jumping ahead on this, I know we're a little earlier in the budget process than you'd like to be on it, but.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is a resolution to approve the authorization to order of $80,000 from fiscal year 2027 capital funds for the purchase of new handguns and related equipment, including lights, holsters, and detached adapter kits from Keisler Police Supply, Jefferson, Indiana, as recommended by Nate Neff, Sheriff.
So moved.
Second.
No more questions, all in, please answer as your name is called.
Paul,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland.
Item 9, legislative update, discussion and possible board action to approve position statements on pending legislation.
We just wanted to bring you up to date, with funnel week last week, there's gonna be several of the bills we've been watching are gonna have new numbers. Kinda asking if, you guys need more information from us, if there's stuff that we're seeing, or I don't know if you guys are receiving it as well. If not, we can be trying to pass along. UCC, the Urban Coalition, is, they're gonna be asking us for position statements on this on behalf of the board. So, we'll probably be bringing some things to you again as far as direction, what we want to oppose, support, monitor, or remain undecided. So, it's been a lot of influx this past week with the funnel, so more details to come.
And a lot of flux in our sessions as well. I
Yeah.
think, we remember that first week, I think a few weeks ago, where we did have more discussion about, talked about some of the positions of the board. And we were good understanding that when you meet as the UCC group, everybody has to agree. But because of, if there's any differences of opinion on any county level, we don't take that position. Just because we understand there's different circumstances in different communities, and that's kind of the way the UCC was founded, is that we all agree that there are ones that we take a position on or don't. Then we remain the undecided or modified and that type of thing. And since we started doing that last couple of weeks, there's always been a group that either hasn't taken it to the board or they want more clarification or they need something, so that we haven't taken a lot of action on anything very much. Just kind of an update on that.
Just to clarify, so UCC wants, they're looking for each county to be supportive of, they aren't necessarily looking for unanimous support from each board of supervisors.
No, that
There's-
was.
Well, yeah, they are. We
There was
have to
somebody-
be,
they
So
said
we
they
have to be
were
united and
Yes.
each county.
No,
well, that's what he's been doing.
no, we don't have to be. UCC has to be.
Yeah.
Not our county as we vote. If we were to take a vote on anything, we don't have to be unanimous.
Okay.
It would be consensus, and that's how
Gotcha,
everybody's
okay.
was. They were just
Okay.
bringing that up, that they wondered how others were doing.
Got it.
And so that was an issue, but.
There are 7 counties?
The 5.
5.
And it's also, this isn't UCC that was asking for this, quite honestly, this was one of the counties that started some of this, and so that's why they wondered if actually making a position for or against helped. So that started it, so UCC, Gary and Larry then just started kind of saying, okay, here's all the bills, and they kept throwing everything at us now.
Sure.
Do you want an opinion on it, come back with it. We haven't done real well as a group. Not this, I mean, as the UCC group.
UCC group.
So it's just because there's always a hole in one of the 5, so it's just like, okay. It's that difficult a year and they keep adding more bills to it, so I'm not sure we'll ever get too far down it. Thank you, Rich. All right, we'll go into the work session. Item number 10, discussion and possible board action. Consideration of all aspects of the fiscal year 27 Blackhawk County budget. Michelle, I assume you want to start off with that.
Do you want to just dive into the questions? I didn't put on here like the property tax asking worksheet first, but look at that if you want to.
You mean,
What you've seen, same thing you've seen from prior months.
so you mean, do we want to dive into our questions, or do you want to start with the sheets that
Do
you've
I
got
want to,
provided?
you want me to start with those sheets?
I think since that was really kind of, she recapped like what we did last week and all the questions and different things we asked then and put it together, correct?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm ready. I hope I'm ready. All right, so last week I was asked about some general revenues that aren't necessarily assigned to any particular department. So this first one is the funding we received, the gaming post city tax we received from the Isle. Let's see what I have budgeted here and what our history is. We had been on a declining stream for the last 3 years. However, for the first 6 months, of fiscal '26, it's been up considerably. So if I double that, assuming we continue at the same rate, that would take us to 416,000. I budgeted 435, which is slightly more than we received in fiscal '25. Maybe a little too aggressive because we do have another casino that is expected to be joining our ranks. And their tentative opening date is December 31st of '26, so that'd be exactly halfway through the year we're budgeting for.
I'm glad we did this anyway. I'd kind of forgotten what the revenue was from it, so it's good to see, but I know that was one of the areas a couple of us at least were thinking maybe we could be a little more aggressive, but yeah, I think since we've already got that to me looked really good that we stayed with the 435. Don't know what others think on that, but I like, yeah, knowing that casino's gonna open, and we do know there'll be I think they were expecting a 5 to 10% maybe, difference, and we'll see. I'm sure the casino can step up some of the marketing and things like they've been doing now, and who knows, but still, won't know more till later. Any comments, questions, thoughts?
I don't recall, is sports betting, do we collect tax off of sports betting, or is that?
You know, I believe we do, it's just a very small
Okay.
amount.
You think we're safe at four? I'm sorry, keep going.
I was gonna say, that's gonna keep going up, yeah.
You're feeling good at 435 though?
Well, you know, I do think it's a little bit aggressive, but based on our history and our fund balance, if we're a little shy there, we'll probably be okay. But, yeah, we don't know. It's interesting that they're thinking now the casino revenues here may not dip as much as they were thinking earlier, so I hope that ends up being the case.
Personally, I don't think it will either, but I know we'll have a little bit of, it'll show a little bit of down.
We go out there's a lot of plates from the county, so
Yeah,
I think there will be an
place.
impact.
Oh,
but
just
I-
the newness of the new place
Yeah.
and going out, it's all about it, people lose some too. Yeah.
I do appreciate, I think it was 22, when Caesars took over operations, there was intentional effort, I think, to start to ramp up some of their entertainment. They started to program the Otis and Henry space upstairs, revamped their hotel rooms, added some gaming options in their pool areas. Strangely be more family friendly. So I do think that they've made some adjustments to offset what could be some future loss, patronage, just to be a little bit more competitive, and that's what the private market does.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with the 435.
Also looked at local option tax, and that is also done really well for 6 months of this year. Larger here. We were down a little bit for fiscal '25, but again, things seem to be going pretty strong for fiscal '26, so I do think we could move that total budget up by about $250,000. Now that does not affect the general fund. That half of that will go into the rural fund, and the other half will go, well, it stays in local option to use for road construction.
That one I'm not so sure about. I'm wondering about just leaving it at the 4 million.
Why is that?
Just a failing economy. We're due for,
I mean,
I'm looking at the years where we stayed, years back. We stayed at the same amount and they went over. There's 1 year in 18 that they came under. But, I guess my first question is how critical is this to be hitting these benchmarks when it comes to setting the budget?
You mean the budgeted amount?
Yeah.
Fair question. question. Because we budget for it in the rural fund, you know, the half that it would go out of fund balance likely there. Secondary roads, right now, I don't know that their budget shows them spending all theirs, so it probably doesn't have an immediate impact to that half. So half is more of an issue than the other half.
So it's a comfort zone kind of thing.
Yeah, that's where I was just wondering about leaving it at the 4 million for this next year.
I'd say I'm just looking, and nobody has the crystal ball, of course, right? From the tourism side, we track hotel stays, and average daily rates, which does impact, obviously, sales tax, as a portion of it. There was, across the state, a sizable dip last year, in visitation. We've seen that come all the way back. I just pulled it up now. So far this fiscal year, we're anywhere between 10 and 25% increase over the previous year, month by month. So I do feel like that number it's all trending in a good direction. I'm comfortable going to the extra 250 right now. I mean, the alternative, I guess, would be for us to not budget for the extra 250, and then we just have an extra. We just have an extra 250 when they're gonna have additional revenues and make some maybe more painful decisions than we need to. You know.
Chris, I support including the 250 as well, and I think that'll help us ease off of. Correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, but that'll help us ease a little bit of the increase of with the additional rural supplemental levy. Is that correct?
Yes. It would probably remove the need to do that, actually.
So then you'd be splitting it, that extra 250 between the option and the rural basic then? Add the 250.
Yeah, so the mechanics of it is all receipted into the local option fund. 50% of it is transferred out to rural, whatever we get. And then the other 50% remains in local option to be used for the eligible road. I mean, it's not just construction starting in July, it can also be other things.
But we're comfortable with that 250 based on the expectation that we're gonna continue to have dollars. I don't know,
I mean,
Both of those funds have, healthy fund balance, so I mean,
yeah.
bottom falls out, we'll be okay.
push, bottom falls out, doesn't sound good, but yes, we'll be okay.
Well, I mean, because that's what we're really talking about, if things really go.
If it doesn't, yeah.
Right, if it doesn't continue and things get bad, the question is what happens, how do we pay our bills?
Yeah.
We have enough fund balance in both of those funds that we will be able to do that.
Yeah, to me, that's the reason we have fund balance. We like it to be as financially sound like it is, because that is what you're able to do, is utilize the tax dollars, not tax people for things that you don't have to, because you have that cushion buffer to help protect us.
I just don't want to use it as a false floor.
I don't either, and we don't, then spend accordingly. You're right.
But to your point, we would make the adjustment in the future year if that bad scenario were to play out.
Yeah.
But if we've got any level of educated.
We'd adjust
Yes,
next year
we could,
accordingly,
yeah.
because you'd see that it didn't.
Yeah, even in 2018, they were shy of the projected amount, but it wasn't by that much.
12,000.
But the majority of the years, it actually came in higher than what was budgeted.
I am trying to get estimates closer, to what we think might actually happen, but
It's,
it's all a crystal ball.
yeah, for
So-
sure. Do we wanna just leave that in the 250 now, in for now, or do we wanna, we can take action, we've got possible board action on things that we can if we wish, it's whatever.
Well, listening to Michelle's explanation on this, I'm a little uneasy with it, but again,
Michelle,
it's all just, you're throwing that dart out there, so
the
at
whole
this point,
budget,
it's
the
not
whole
a
budget's
huge.
that way.
Yeah, it's not a huge increase, and it's trending right. We shoot and see.
Well, that's why we just wanted to look at everything again and see it a little up close instead of just assuming some of the stuff, so. I'm glad to see the numbers, but I don't.
Well,
but
we
I'm
did,
seeing them.
I will admit that when I first worked on this budget, November payment was a little lower than I expected it to be. So I, at that point, thought maybe things were gonna settle down, we had a spike in the early fall and it's gonna come back down. But since that time, December and January have both been very good payments, so I don't know that it's gonna slow down in 26. Now, 27, we're talking 18 months out, that's a long time.
That's where the crystal ball is in there. So thoughts are just leave it at the in for now, and we can always discuss it later if you want
Yeah,
to change your mind, or we can take
Yeah.
a vote on it.
couple of weeks and see what happens. They come in.
That's where the crystal ball would help.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts or more questions to Justin?
No, I think the CPA
Yeah,
trusts it, I trust her.
And yeah, two
Uh-oh.
more members. Yeah, yeah.
Just so you know, my crystal ball's been broken for some time.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. It's still pretty conservative ball.
It is.
I was just
And
thinking,
Michelle, for
like,
timing, on this, kind of final decision, I just want to make sure we're not, if we're going to leave the 250 in there, that we're not, sending out notifications saying that we're potentially adding a new supplemental levy when we're not actually going to end up doing it. So I kind of wonder if we should take action on this just to solidify this for that decision purpose.
That would be helpful, because as you know, this week we've got to kind of decide what we're gonna upload to the department management that will be sent out to the taxpayers, so.
So do you want to take action, so we go back to the gaming host? Do we want to take some action
That
on
would
that?
be
Does that
fine
help
if
you
you're
too?
ready to.
If everybody's ready to do that, we'll go back and start with that one.
I'll make the motion, for $435,000 for FY 26 budget, for gaming.
You meant 27.
Sorry,
For
27.
fiscal year.
Yep, thank you.
Was
And
that
I'll
just-
second that.
This is the 435 from gaming.
Sorry, Karen. Going back to start over here.
That's okay.
And who seconded that?
Schwartz.
Schwartz. This resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes,
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes, thank you. Now moving on to the local option tax revenue. Any more questions or do
I'll
we
make
want
a,
to?
I'll make a motion, for $4,250,000 for FY 27, budget from local option sales tax revenue.
a second.
It's the resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Last one is one I'm not used to discussing very much. It's It's historically been a relatively small amount until about 2020 when we had a law change. So this is the monies and credits tax that we receive now from credit unions, and it is not easy to predict. You see from the history here. So they historically had budgeted it very low. I bumped it up when I did the first budget in 2024. And then in 2025, I'm not sure what happened, but our revenue really declined dramatically. I have a suspicion something maybe got paid late. So I think that might be maybe why the amount, and we usually get this payment one time a year. So I think the amount that we've already received in 26 will be for the whole year. I'm only guessing because you don't have visibility to that information to know who you're getting it from or what period it was for. I'm only just speculating there may have been late payment that's included in the 295, so I moved that down to 195. That's still, it's a 3-year average. It felt like this.
And it's paid just once a year and from credit unions, and it's for what is that?
It's a complicated thing, it's just something they have to pay in lieu of property tax, basically, and they also don't pay franchise tax, so they just have different tax rules in the tax code.
I was gonna say, I don't recall ever seeing this sheet before.
No, this is, I think, a new one that I did for you, because you had asked me to look at general revenue, and I thought, well, I'll include that as well. These are 3 different tax sources, really, that we receive, that sometimes can be overlooked. And when it was only, $40,000 a year for so many years, it wasn't, probably didn't merit much discussion, but the revenue has gone up quite substantially, except for fiscal 25, so. Hope, again, I budgeted the 3-year average. That's a little aggressive for me, because when I see that 64,000 in there for 25, that concerns me. But again, we have enough cushion. We're not gonna not be able to pay a bill if this is low.
Yeah.
So the 195 is taken 24, 25, and 26, and creating an average?
Yep.
If you go back further into 2020, it's still, that's a little, 26.
We've had some growth in our credit unions in the last few years. And I don't necessarily see that trend changing. There are a lot of them.
Do you need a motion on this as well?
All would be helpful, I think.
Yeah, I think
So
Also
if everybody's ready to, okay.
195.
This is a resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Brant,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Leyland. I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Richie, and I second.
Thank you.
We're trying to help in this, signs didn't work well.
I got that he seconded it, but I missed.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next sheet I think we'll discuss, this will not include, well, doesn't matter anyway, we're talking about general basic mostly on here. Rural, I guess, is affected, but this sheet attempts to accumulate the suggestions that the board has made so far.
Oh, which one? Oh, that one, you didn't do the library one.
If you wanna do that first,
No,
we
I don't
can.
know.
I have them in the room.
That's the order you had them in.
Let's do let's do the libraries. If you've got the libraries next, I'm fine. So, libraries have requested a language change to their contract. You should have several slides about the library.
Yes.
Okay. currently, the contract language is limited to 50% of the amount each city puts in. And right now, the last couple of years, that is causing Dunkerton, which I'll show you the statistics here in a few slides. They have the highest rural circulation, but their city funds their library to lower levels, so that is causing us to limit it. And for example, their allocation for 2026 was limited by $15,970. So the libraries, when they came to make their presentation to you, they asked to apply that 50% limitation only to cities that are providing more than 100,000 in tax support on their own. And that would allow Dunkerton to receive a full payment. The funding options for the library, we have the library request. They requested $221,816. That would get to a per capita contribution of $23.31. I did add one to meet the FY25 state average. That would bring the total contribution down just slightly to $219,367. And that state average per Jake is $23.05, so that would put us there. I also have an option on here to maintain the current level of funding, which is $210,824, and that is a $22.15 per capita contribution.
And when you say maintain the current level, is the dollar amount not the percentage?
Correct.
Good.
Yep.
Mm.
So the statistic, well, actually, here's the, I don't know if you care to go through this, the change in the actual language, just showing removing the 50% cap is in the contract that I gave you.
I wasn't real fond of that last year, as you recall.
Oh, the removal of the cap, or the removal of the
Of the contract change for one community, I was gonna say, I think, and I tried to think about this a lot too this time, just because of I knew it would be coming up. I love their readership. I love the fact that circulation numbers are high. Had nothing to do with that. But last year, or I guess it would have been 25, whichever was the first year that this came up, we went back to the city and asked them if they would reconsider. This was after budgets had kind of been approved for the most part, and asked if they would reconsider doing that because it was hurting, I think, about $8,000 or something like that then, and that if they could increase their amount, we would be increasing our amount. And the city, the mayor and council weren't going to do that at that time. And I did have that conversation with them that just going forward, they would know that if they didn't increase that amount, that same thing would be happening and we wouldn't be fulfilling the 50%. So I guess hats off to the communities for coming up or trying to come up with a solution. But to me, this is, I mean, I looked at the county even in this situation and said, you know, if there's something that we choose not to do, and we've made that decision, the state or someone doesn't come and say, yeah, we'll take care of that for you. So, to me, the home rule and local government are the ones truly in front of the citizens, the closest to all of the working relationships, the circulation of what their area is, and made the decision to not fund it at the level, for whatever reasons. They have priorities too, but so do we. But so they didn't increase it. So to me, their community then voted to say, we recognize that we made this change, but that's part of the repercussions, I guess, because we understand that the county won't be doing this at the level that we'd like. They're still funded. It's not that they're not funded, it's just that it's a reduced amount and it isn't 50%. So that's really my position still for me. Not that it can't be different for the whole board, but I just thought that we are asking to make an exception, and then in that case, I'm not sure why we wouldn't make exceptions for others in other situations. But I know there's the
contract language would theoretically affect all of them. It does affect two except that
Two,
there are
yes.
2 cities that are currently funding less than 100,000.
And the one's just moved fairly new, I think, to doing it, though. The other did it 2 years ago. It's not the last couple
Yeah,
of
they're not affected by the limit necessarily, they're just below the 100,000 that the librarians are suggesting.
Is that the reason, like Janesville's highlighted there then?
Yes, I was trying to show which ones would be affected with the new method. And it doesn't change Janesville's amount.
The Janesville Library itself must be actually on the Blackhawk County side though, as opposed to Jessup.
I don't, yeah, I don't know about Jessup, Janesville has been in this for many years, I
Yeah.
did kind of pull up that map, there's a very small amount of Janesville that's actually in Blackhawk County, but somehow they're, long before me, been included in this allocation.
I assume Bremer also?
I didn't look into that,
Yeah.
so I don't know if they fund them as well.
And as I understand, all the libraries have an agreement that they can check out books or what from each other.
I believe
I
that's,
think that's, so it's not that we wouldn't allow services from any other communities that have libraries.
Dunkerton hasn't certified their budget yet, correct?
I am not, well, no one can yet.
No, well, that's true,
So
yeah,
they
okay.
can't, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where they're at in their process, but obviously none of us can certify till after those
True.
mailers go out and we have our 2 hearings.
Well,
So,
it's tough, cause I definitely get the rural circulation part of
yeah.
Dunkerton's argument and why it's tempting to the contract adjustment does definitely sort of bend the rule a little bit in order to squeeze them in. Or it feels that way. I'm actually, I probably side with you that I like keeping that 50% requirement. And if we were to sort of say no to this, then it does still allow Dunkerton the time to adjust their budget. And if they want the extra $11,000 from us, they would need to increase their contribution into their community's library, and it would unlock, it effectively feels as a challenge, right? That if becomes a bit of a matching fund, really. If they're willing to invest in their library, so are we. But if their community decides that they don't want, for whatever reason, to invest in that level, then to expect us to carry their water on that's a little.
Because it goes, because it's ongoing, it's
But I
every,
think
they're
that's
gonna,
their point is, it's not the city of Dunkerton, it's the rural people that aren't voting on their budget, nor are they paying into Dunkerton's budget. Just to point that out. And when you look at their circulation, it's not much lower than City of Waterloo.
No, I
And
saw that.
substantially higher than City of Cedar Falls, so
Yeah,
when
it's,
you think about
Oh,
that,
for
they
sure.
really are, they truly are
They're-
providing more circulation
They
to
are.
rural addresses.
They are.
Oh,
That's all
great.
this shows us.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
they're a great little library. If
Yeah.
any of us have been
Yeah,
there,
it's,
I
it
was
is
gonna
definitely
say
not
it's
a knock
very-
on them.
No, not at all. No. Yeah, and it's just on going on forward, then if we've kind of done this, to me, then you've said that we will just carry that as well then. And
That's the issue.
that's the issue to me, is for the community. So I like keeping them engaged and involved in trying to.
It's kind of 2 steps to this, not just funding, but also including the option for them.
True, there's the funding level that they ask for, and they ask at that 5.59%, which is a little high.
Sorry.
From the request, but yes, so there's twofold. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one for the contract and whether or not to change a contract for them, and also then if there's an increase or whatever we wanna do for the libraries. And as you-
Would there be any interest in thinking, I'm literally just brainstorming, maybe somehow providing a higher percentage? I don't know if we'd have to set tiers for if they have higher rural, that we might allow a higher percentage. And I'm just asking.
I know, well, maybe in the future, maybe not this year, maybe this
Yeah.
year they've thrown this at us or whoever has, it's like, yeah, they've had time to work on it, maybe they need more time to work on it, because if the libraries are better coming up with solutions, maybe they need some other solution.
And we made some pretty big adjustments last year for them,
We did,
remember right?
They've gotten several years worth of large.
and in
increases.
25, we did 12%. So, because we did increase from what we kind of had 3% right about for several years, and then we did a 7, a 6, a 12, and a 4. So,
The circulation just means how many checkouts to specifically rural
Yes.
residents. They've dumb it down for me sometimes.
No, it's
It's a lot easier.
complicated. It was interesting to me how complicated this first is for.
We have the, yeah. Well, do we want to take that to 2 issues? I was going to say as far as the changing of a contract versus not. Is there a motion to change the contract or?
Well, I think changing of the contract would, if that were to be denied, then that would likely, would that change what we would allocate for funding? Again, it's really hard because if we're just going off of percentage, there's gotta be some level of,
It doesn't necessarily, you have choices, we can either just not allocate the, I think it was about 10,000, well, this is based on if you increase it.
Yeah.
That 10,000, they would be, you'd be basically reducing Dunkerton by 11,000. So then you can either try to reallocate that among everyone or just not allocate that 10,000.
so maybe what we could do is we could pass the overall dollar amount. And then after they have the same process where they've gotta publish their max, at that point, we'll at least have a better idea of where they're gonna come at in their budget for their library,
Well, I
correct?
Okay, I do wanna, guess I need to back up, cause we're, in order to avoid that whole circular thing about the budgets, this funding is typically based on the fiscal year most recently completed. So all the information you see on
Okay.
those 2 statistic sheets are from 2025. And you don't have to, but it kind of streamlines things.
That helps.
In prior years, we just would use those statistics to allocate the current.
Gotcha.
So it really becomes just for this year, I think, an allocation issue,
Okay.
if you wanna change the contract language or not.
Is there any one that wishes to change the contract language? I mean, there's really no reason to do a motion to do like for or against unless somebody wishes to do.
I'd kinda like to have the contract conversation either after or before next year's allocation. That's something I don't know why we're waiting to budget time to be looking at instead of doing it beforehand.
I think they knew it. They've known it when when this first came up, and that happened in 25.
Yeah, we had a discussion
We did
last
have
year
the
about it.
discussion with them, yeah,
So-
and we didn't change it. They didn't ask for a contract change for this year,
Right.
so they're just looking for solutions, I think, which is good, but, yeah. No, not as us as the one to be the solution. I'd like Dunkerton to come up with some solutions for their city and their library. That would be a good conversation, I would think, from both parties typically. We would do that with ours, would we not? And if it's a solid no, then it's a solid no, I guess, going forward. Or unless we wish to change it. Solid no for now.
Outside of the presentation, which was the beginning of January, wasn't it? January 7th, I think. Has there been any
Really.
correspondence from them about this prior to then?
Not,
You guys know of?
no, I knew they were going to propose something for a couple months, but I didn't know what they were proposing until they came that day, so. And I know Jake would be happy to come talk with you again. He wanted to be here and I had suggested you might wanna discuss, you needed to discuss that before.
Well, I think we understand though the contract changes quite well. there's no reason to discuss that part, but yeah. Unless somebody has questions they want to ask them. That wouldn't really necessarily address the Duncan issue. The Duncan
This
allocation,
this is Chris. My goal has always been to try and get more library funding.
Yeah.
And as I kind of think through this, the way the contract is currently written is to incentivize investment, and so that's what I'm just hoping that Dunkerton will step up a little bit to bring in those additional match dollars, as Tavis referenced. If the percent of allocation was to rural residents was closer to the 50% threshold, then I think that argument would bear a little more water for me of changing the contract. But even still, as it is, we're not. It's us exceeding half of their budget. We're not. They're not providing half the services to just rural residents. So it's.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, but what do we have in the rural areas? 10,000, 12,000 people in total-ish?
As far as
Just
the
under 10, I think.
9,500 or something, 9,500, I think she was.
So I mean, on the other side of that, then almost half of that population seems to be primarily using the Dunkerton library at face value, at least.
I think there's probably more. It's probably fewer people than that because it's people checking out multiple things.
Yeah.
I'm guessing is what's calculated in.
But we don't have to make any decisions today regarding the library stuff, or would you guys prefer
We
to?
can, I mean, that we can.
Probably help
Just-
us
Just
along
the
if
moving
we
ahead,
can.
like Michelle said, her having her decision, then she knows what numbers to plug in.
Or everything off the list.
What's currently in the budget is the same, the 210,000. So if you are interested in increasing it, I do need to know, even if you choose to make the final decision later,
Mhm.
I do need to know if you want me to increase that in what we upload next week.
Is there a desire by anybody, I was gonna say, to give them like a 3% increase, or?
Honestly, that was
Rather
the
than
number I
just keep it the
was,
same?
I was thinking 3, just sort of in line with what I think just.
Where does that option to, what kind of percentage is that going to that state average?
That was
Print that out, sorry.
The state average.
442, oh, no, to get to the state average, it was 4.42,
Was it?
they requested 5.59. And 6,302 is the 3%.
That's just under 217, 148 for doing 3%.
I think that's fair.
Put that number in now.
Yeah, I'm supportive of either the 3% or meeting the state average.
Is there a motion for that?
I'll make a motion for 3% increase.
I'll second.
This is a resolution, please answer your names.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And how would you like to move forward with the contract language?
You want to vote on it?
I'm asking, if
Is
we
there
can
any?
do it later, we can do
No.
whatever you want.
Well, they requested it, but I was gonna say that doesn't mean we have to take action on it, so I didn't.
No, we have to approve a contract before we can write checks, that's all. So there's time.
So, you mean the regular contract that we do with the libraries?
Yes.
I'm fine to make a motion to I'm not making a motion, I'm just discussing.
Discuss.
I'm fine to make a motion
Yeah.
to deny the contract change
Mhm.
because I think it potentially does signal to Dunkerton in particular that it removes a gray area of, well, maybe they're gonna change, there's a little bit more certainty so that we can hopefully incentivize what we hope is positive behavior of increasing their contribution to their library. So I think there is some value in us just saying, we're not going to accept the contract change, and we're gonna offer the same contract as.
That's a motion? Is that what you wanna say now to, or no?
I didn't hear
I was-
formal.
I know, I just meant, was he discussing still?
I was just saying, I was just discussing that that's where I'm,
But you don't need a motion for not doing anything at this point.
No, we don't need to change.
we don't need
It's just the same.
we don't need a motion, it would, however, I think,
Close that,
it would just close it, so we're,
give closure to the decision, not keep hanging open. Also, I
Yeah.
think they'll know that. For now, yeah. I mean, I don't agree the way. Board's choice.
you're, yeah. Michelle, you typically are the one that's communicating directly with them. Do you think that they'll hear it if you say no one was interested, you know, there wasn't a consensus on?
Yeah, I would like to let them know, and, I mean, I think I'm hearing you say we need something that incentivizes all of them, and we think that arbitrary dollar limit doesn't work for that, and I agree
Well,
with
that's not
that.
necessarily, I'm thinking I think the contract has been good and been working, and it's just that these last couple of years it hasn't, and that's, like, for any of us, we could be in that boat where we can't even pay. I mean, not that we expect to, but like I said, that make our contribution, but, yeah. I'm fine with the if a
Say you
vote,
prefer to
that
leave it
we-
the way it is, I think we can tell them, I can tell them that.
Okay.
I mean, we leave it as is, and that's what it is until we have the contract renewed, so.
No action.
Kind of like one of those, what
No
items you
action.
put on the budget.
Actionless item.
Yeah.
It is, quite honestly, unless you want to accept it, so that was all. Okay. Thank you.
All right. What would you like to talk about next?
Whatever
What
got
would
next
you like to
on
talk
the
about next?
Good question. The weather?
Nice try.
list. Only if it's good.
Is it raining money?
I keep looking, I can't find it. So, well, this is the schedule of proposed adjustments based on ideas that have been suggested at this point. And I believe all of those were talked about at the last meeting, I was just getting them on paper and adding them up here, so. You can see this does fill, it more than fills the gap we needed to meet the 350, so the reductions or changes, I'm gonna call them changes, are more than the 273, 322 that we needed to bring the general fund up to where it needed to be. Because those changes are more than we needed, then we can actually reduce the general supplemental by that difference too. So that part does actually bring our tax levy down a little bit. Then I have on here the suggestions made for rural. And if we do, this does not reflect increasing the local option tax revenue by the 125, so that it doesn't completely wipe out the need for rural supplemental if you choose to adopt all these changes, but it does cut it more than in half. And yeah, I am gonna say, as I look out into the future, you know, our assessment revaluations come every other year. So, and this was a revaluation year. Next year will not be, so the only added property tax capacity you have for the general levy and the rural levy is true growth that also is not captured in a TIF district, so
Do we have a schedule of are there any TIFs that are ending?
I keep asking that question. We might pick up a little bit next year, but then there's a long dry spell.
More tip.
Is it 26 or 27?
Oh, exactly.
It was
We have
26
more
was
tips.
first day in morning.
Well, we're moving, yeah, I mean, we're talking 27, I'm actually speaking about, I guess it was 28. 27 may be the last year for some. So we may pick up some, but it's not going to be enough to cover our, our annual salary increases in the general fund. So I just wanted to get that on the table as we continue to increase those rural deputies to rural. It would appear to me that we're going to bump into those caps pretty darn soon. So
Sorry, can you say that last part again?
it would appear to me we're gonna bump into the rural levy cap very soon. We keep trying to fix our general fund by pushing it to the rural, and that there isn't going to be very much opportunity left to do that, I don't.
And that was based on this, when we mentioned that, I don't see a number there, but we said, talked about the 80 to 85.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just had language there, increased deputies portion charged to rural fund, that was 90,000, that's an increase of 5% in the deputies. From 80 to 85, which we did increase to the 80 a year or two ago, I'm trying to get of that now.
And the move benefits on the increase, that's just for the companies, that 5%, is that what you're talking?
Yes, I could move more over there, so I did.
Michelle, help me get my head around this part. So if we come in under the 3.5, I'm talking for general basic right now. Does that give us, just under the constraints of both current legislation or current law and proposed legislation, does that potentially limit us further from revenue that we can collect next year?
The 350 part does not, because if you remember, and I haven't gotten this slide out yet this year, you set me up for it, Chris. If you remember, we have to fill our 350 bucket first before we can put any employee benefits over into general supplemental. So right now, because our reductions created a little bit of room in that 350 bucket, I could move funds back from general supplemental into the general basic. That's the 92,153 you see toward the bottom of this schedule. That's how I'm balancing so that we're getting the full benefit of the 350, because we have to if we want to do anything with general supplemental. So we did that, and then we have that does, for this year, it does reduce the taxes for general supplemental. And that's the kind of interesting thing about the property tax bill proposals that are out there is you're absolutely right. They really don't incentivize governments to reduce their taxes this year more than what they have to. In other words, they've already limited our growth. Because we didn't happen to have a huge amount of growth, we didn't have a limit in the 350 this year. But under current law, we're not limited by amount what can go in that general supplemental. So that can go up this year. In the future, depending on what they pass, there may be restrictions of 2% or some other percentage on that, we don't know. Yeah, there are different bills with different equations about that. Some include capping the general supplemental, some do not, and I just don't know where that's gonna land. It'll hope they don't, but you just don't know. The idea is definitely out there because it's in print in at least one of the bills.
Thank you. You touched on the point I was trying to figure out, is that one of the reasons why this legislation, these laws don't make any sense is that we almost have to do this defensive budgeting of where we're setting our levies to not lower it too much and then hamstring ourselves the next year. And so it's
a balancing act, yes.
Well, I think, I was just looking at this list, I was gonna say, obviously, we threw all kinds of things at you
Yes,
for
I-
consideration.
Yeah, I don't know that I would consider this your final list. This was a brainstorming idea,
Yeah,
so.
that's what we did, yeah. We do know some, though, I think that we should definitely, I don't know if we need to take action on, but the eliminate Pinecrest security unless someone has I mean, that's a point of discussion, and we can wait till Roy's back or something if one would choose, but that 41,000, he was favorable of it, so I just thought that's a savings for us.
Yeah.
Definitely, so, anybody wanna,
I'd give the green light for that one for sure.
all right, anybody?
And then I'll go back to.
I'll second that motion.
Just to touch on a little bit more in the,
Yeah.
whatever committee, policy group that meets however often regarding, security and stuff.
Mhm.
Jared Parker was also favorable of that, who works out at Pinecrest, so he said, just given the updates to the building itself, once that's complete, there's really no issue, so.
Yeah, I think Roy touched on that a little bit, that checking with everybody to make sure that that was the feeling too of staff and at that point, all right. Do we need motions on that or just leave it
Yeah.
on there? Okay,
Second.
If you want to.
all right.
Yeah, I'll move to eliminate Pinecrest security funding.
Roll call vote, his answer's name was called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Rayland.
Yes. Another one on there that I thought was gonna be a fairly easy one, I'm not trying to skip, just anybody can talk about others, but, the eliminate the attorney's .36 FTEs, obviously with the vacancies he has, of 3, he said he had 3 attorneys that are vacant, so that, for the most part, would be a pretty small, and that was the only position he wanted to utilize that while he had staff openings. He said he had vacancies and he
Well-
thought that would help assist him.
It would. It's a different type of work that someone can come in and do on a part-time basis. And I'm sorry, I'm putting words in his mouth, but it's words he's given me. So what, it would save the existing attorney staff from having to do that function.
Yeah.
I think you could consider, we could consider just taking one full-time position completely out of the budget and leave this one in if you would choose to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of however you want to do it with the numbers, it works, but I was gonna say because of that, it was an easy one to,
Well-
he'll have it or for as long as he needs it,
The
when he's
part-time,
down.
right,
Because it is a part-time position with no benefits.
This
It was
would-
really just to
yeah.
have someone there that kind of helped with that.
But if you said there's currently 3 vacancies,
Mhm.
take that down to 2 vacancies effectively, is that savings?
It's not
Already built,
reflected
or
in
is-
here because you haven't,
Because we haven't
you haven't
taken
discussed
action.
it, so
That
I'm
would-
just throwing it out.
That can-
Yeah, I am just throwing that out as an alternative.
That, yeah.
I don't know
It's
if
an
he's ever
interesting
proposed
alternative.
that, yeah.
It would, I'd probably wanna wait until we
We can,
talk that one through before we before we vote on the.
that's fine, I
On
just
the
know
point
that was
three.
gonna be pretty easy for .3 for no benefits in his budget.
Yeah. But if that .3 sort of offsets that full time, there's more savings
Oh,
and this, yeah.
and the eliminate 3 health in new intern positions, I think that's really removed from the list. Caitlin came back with an email and said that she had removed those and reshuffled. I think she'd had some changes in staff since her board had taken a position on that, supporting the changes that they gave to us in the report. And a savings, I think she said of like $65,000 or something to that effect. But it was removing those 3, keeping the 3 Thrive grant individuals and a couple of the
So
positions
are you
filled.
saying you wanna incorporate everything that she suggested? All of Caitlin's changes that she sent? Because this is not all of them.
No, this is not all of them. She came through with those were changes
Yes,
her
and
board had
this
approved.
too, yeah,
But yeah, these three were just ones we talked about last week.
right, that's
So
why
is
that's all
everyone all right?
that's why
They've
that's
seen
all
them?
that's on here, because
Got it.
you talked about
Yeah.
these, so it's on the sheet,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing
She's come
that,
through some stuff. Yeah, we all saw that email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can, you want us to do action on that another day?
I don't, that's up to you, you can do it now or
Her board
not.
supported it, so to me, I don't have it in front of me.
Well, their
Yeah.
board meetings is
Yeah, I
tomorrow.
don't know that they,
Yeah, I think we need to wait till next
I
week.
thought she did it in January. I'm pretty sure she sent that email was from January date, but we can wait on it because I
maybe,
don't
don't
have that.
know.
don't remember.
I
Because I did
Board,
that.
I don't recall that action in
Oh,
January,
Caitlin,
but
are you on?
Yep, and Chris
So-
just said what I was going to say. So the Board of Health did already take action on um, the information analyst conversion to the administrative medical assistant position. So that cost savings alone was around 44,000. The other things listed that in my email to the board. So the vacant first 5 position and the 3 intern positions, those have not had formal Board of Health action, but that's what I proposed for a cost savings measure.
So it probably make more sense to do this after your board meeting? Or they'll probably do it, I'm sure, as a recommendation from Caitlin, but.
Well, I guess I will clarify, the new intern positions were part of the budget that the Board of Health approved. So if those were to be eliminated out of the budget, then I would bring that to them. But I was just kind of waiting to see how this played out for budget discussions. And then the vacant first 5 position has also not gone to the board, again, because I'm kind of waiting to see if that's a position that we need to remove permanently or if we just leave it unfilled temporarily.
Fair enough,
Does that
and give you a little more
help?
time.
We have to have ours done by when?
Well, I think now the ball's kind of in your court. Her Board of Health has proposed a budget to you, but it's your responsibility to decide how much they ultimately get, so it's really what you wanna do at this point, I think, as I understand it anyway.
We're probably not gonna have all these resolved today anyway, but what's the board's?
Maybe,
Well,
I think I would recommend, Caitlin's correct, they did already approve changing the information analyst to a medical assistant position, so I think we certainly probably wanna include that change in here, and that's about 34,000, a little more than that for the general basic levy, plus another 10 or so coming out of general supplemental.
Would it be cleaner if we just approved the department's budget versus trying to do the item by items?
Well,
Not necessarily today.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
then you, if you did that, are you talking about just this department or all of them?
Well, just this department and for the health department, for that budget, departmental budget that we would approve to represent the $65,462 that she outlined, if we were to make those adjustments.
That's what she's saying, that's not approved yet.
So we wait till after Wednesday, is that?
I don't think I think what we're trying to say is that it doesn't matter now. I think it's up to you just to decide if you want her to cut the 65 or not. Her board has approved about 44 of that 65, I believe. That doesn't seem, I wonder if that 65 is just a general fund, those numbers don't line up in my head right now. I would suggest that it wouldn't hurt to take action today to make the change from the information analyst that her board already approved.
Okay.
Let me put those numbers in here, and you can talk about the others later.
Talk about the interns later.
The interns and the other position.
Is that fair enough, Caitlin?
Yeah, I think so. And just to kind of reiterate, this is just a consequence of us doing our budget early and then things happening after the formal presentation. But Michelle's absolutely right. What the Board of Health approved and presented to you all as the Board of Supervisors is inclusive of, or is not inclusive of the change that happened in January with the transition of that. So I think it's absolutely safe to go ahead and make that change. It did include the intern positions and the first 5 position that is currently vacant. So technically, while I'm suggesting that, the board hasn't taken action on it, but their role is to work with the budget that you allocate to them. So if that needs to happen, then that's what we will do.
But typically, if you would take your changes back that you presented to us initially, I guess, and from that, that's that opinion or thoughts on what they've done since, then we have
Yeah.
just a different proposal, but we put those numbers up.
Right, and I don't anticipate any issue with doing that.
Because I did go back to Caitlin right away and said, was that after the board had all these discussions about making changes? And she said, no, that had happened before. This wasn't as a result of this. Does that work for you, Michelle?
So you wanna take out the 34, the change in the position that they did approve? I just wanna make sure I'm following. And not,
I think if they haven't approved, whatever they have, they need to approve, don't they? And I'm thinking whatever she needs to approve with her board.
well, okay, I think she's telling me she's already done that,
And
so.
with some of it, yeah,
Some of it, not all of it.
not all.
Well, she has done the 34, that's why I'm trying to clarify that where you wanna go ahead and adopt in our sheet what they took action on later. What they didn't take any action on was eliminating the interns or eliminating that other position.
So maybe we wait though for one action, the full package rather than just doing partial.
Okay,
What's the
maybe I need to
benefit?
ask Caitlin, I don't think they're planning to come back to you with anything else, I think now you have to tell them.
We're gonna fund this.
Correct. Right. I wasn't going to bring that back to the Board of Health until after the budget conversations were complete.
Yeah, so that's why I'm suggesting
Well, we can
not
change
doing the other
anything in the
two.
budget up to
Exactly, that's what I'm,
April 1st, right?
exactly,
Sure.
that's what I'm saying, but I think the one they've already agreed to change later, we could go ahead and put in here. But we don't have to.
Well, I don't know, I was just gonna say, the first 5 positions mentioned in there, I know that has value, and I would hate to see positions getting cut or not filled that are probably needed as we look at other things that are on here on the list too. So I'm not saying I don't want to fund community services, for example, but when I look at what we are required to do versus what we want to do, that's where I kind of have trouble getting on board if we're gonna tax for community services funding and then cut or not fill a position.
Sure.
So I guess my preference would be trim back on the non-essential expenses that we have for taxation purposes that are extra when it comes to food bank, community service, anything else on there. Not adding extra positions, and where does that get us?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's kind of that same feeling, like you have county services and programs and that type of thing, and you don't make cuts to what we do and what we're expected to do for the public and the residents and that type of thing while we give money externally.
Yeah, I mean,
To others, so.
I think we have the priorities, and that's kind of what they are,
Mhm.
whereas the services that we already have to cover.
But I guess we need to look at numbers a little bit closer. Maybe, I mean, these are kind of things, the discussions that we need to have.
Yeah.
Like I say, and with our,
So that's why I think Caitlin and I are both saying right now, we would leave in both the interns and the first 5. Unless if we're understanding you correctly. But we would go ahead and make the other change, because the position's still there. They just reclassified it and said, instead of this position, we want it to be that position, and it just comes with a different price tag.
I thought.
And that reclassification, that reclassification, the dollar amount there is what again?
Well, it's about 34 or something for the general fund and another 10 or so for general supplemental. So it's a chunk. I mean, it's not just 5,000.
Yeah.
And her board has approved that reclassification, that's what we're trying to tell you, that I think we're not getting through.
Yeah.
No, it was just the whole, I think we were looking at the whole picture of
Yeah.
what it's gonna be. So I don't think it wasn't that portion wasn't approved by them.
It's still kind of confusing with which is the horse in the cart here.
Just making sure we're all on the same page, Michelle.
Yeah.
And we understand it and don't see it later on something and say like, oh, that's not what I thought it was.
The 44,169 is reclassification, 6536 is first.
Listening to the board. So there were it's an intern positions, non-essential. That was the 3. Then there was the analyst, the 44,169, and there was the first 5
Right.
position,
3.
and that was the 6,536. For a total proposed savings of 65,462.
So if you're not wanting to change county staffing yet, which makes sense to me, the worksheets that we've handed out, I would like take off the interns right now because they're on here. I would probably take them off, and the first 5 is not on here at all. But I would add that change the 44,169 because her board, they've done that. They've already taken that action. They're in the process of advertising. So it's not gonna hurt anything, it's just a correction, I guess I'm gonna call it, more than a staffing change. So yeah, if you wanna, if we don't wanna address any county positions, then that's the only change I would make right now.
I'm just saying not adding more than we already have. So like, okay, if they're switching information analyst to medical something, and they've already got that somewhere on the payroll, then so be it, but yeah, as far as the intern stuff, because I'm looking at the email that Caitlin sent from, was it February 17th?
Yep.
And my interpretation from that was they'd be okay with reducing the first 5, the 3 interns, and the information analyst, for a total of 65,462.
So what I want to say to that is, she was a very good team player and
Yeah,
offered that
for
to
sure.
you. But you have not asked any other department or elected official to share any ideas yet. So in a way, I feel like we're kind of jumping the gun
Yeah.
to jump on one department unless we're gonna talk to all departments.
I sent an email out this morning, so I was late
Oh,
getting it out, and that was probably like at between 8:30 and 8:45, so.
okay.
I don't expect
I
anybody
was running around.
No, I know. But I don't disagree with you on that, so I'm not picking on public health.
No, and I hope Caitlin knows we weren't picking on you either when these changes came about.
Yeah, and then also,
Yeah,
go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, I would just suggest for today that we incorporate the change that's already, reclassification that's already approved, which is more of a correction, and take a quick look at where that puts us at with the Pinecrest security elimination, and then maybe discuss some of the other items for today and move on from the positions for now.
I'll second Chris's motion to reclassify the information analysis position to the administrative medical assistant, saving $44,169. That sound right, Chris?
Yes.
Good.
Want me to do a roll call?
Yes, please. I was gonna say, is everybody good with that? And you looked at you, you're okay with that, got it, the language too? Yes, roll call vote, please.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Kurttenbach,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. There, eliminate the 0.5 full-time equivalent new position. There is that position. We want to discuss more of those today or no?
Yeah, I think we can touch on
I know, my thoughts on it were the fact that Toki has now she's now a full-time employee this year. I think we've had her be half-time health department and half IT for a couple of years, if not more. And, I was just kind of holding off a little bit, like you say, with like creating new positions and thinking maybe let's take this year and to see how it works with Toki and going forward and Al and the department and evaluating where we're at maybe in a year from now. The help desk, I think I think they've been doing a great job with servicing all the needs and stuff we have so far, but if they, can't they do a better job? We all can. I mean, and I think that was my argument with Al, just saying if we gave every department another person, they operate at a more optimal level. But I understood that he was just trying to meet the needs of everyone and be faster and, get everything done. But that was my thought on waiting on that one, just because Toki's just now become a full-time employee here, and to see how that transitions for us, and holding off just another year at least for that.
Yeah.
Open up to thoughts and ideas for others.
So does that mean that we have nobody taking care of that stuff for the health department now? Or is Toki still doing part of that?
No, they were still gonna, I think the whole IT department that's gonna convert to, but Al, you can speak to that.
Excuse me, the LU IT director. So that old position that's the one that you guys were just talking about that got reclassified. I do not know what those duties are. I believe they are completely different from the previous analyst job. And Caitlin can correct me on that one, so if I'm wrong. For the current position, she is same technology support specialist, just like Corey. So.
But you as a department will still meet the needs of the health department as you.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a little different because she was physically housed there, and so that won't be the case. There is a day that she's currently temporarily scheduled to be there, dedicated at like a half day, but I think it's a temporary thing, and so we won't have anyone physically at public health all times.
No, but I think that's the way this position's been designed that way with Toki.
Correct. There are some benefits to housing someone in a building. I don't think it's fair to that person either. So and it doesn't really help with kind of a backup coverage and learning as cross training. So I think it benefits us to be centrally located and when we go out to the different locations, because that was also like when we first took over the sheriffs. They were wondering, are they going to have a dedicated person? I was like, yes, that was arranged before, but it doesn't help with cross training. So, and it's been working out pretty well for us. I know it's more reactionary, but I think it's been very helpful for us because we've learned quite a bit throughout this process doing it that way.
Well, I'm glad like I say, it worked well with Caitlin, and I was going to say to do the transition for the last few years, kind of a sharing of Toki, but yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you for working through it. But is that however, thoughts? Another.
So this current fiscal year, we've already effectively added a half time, right? Because Toki went from part-time IT, part-time health to full-time. We're just talking now about.
Well, we shifted from one department to another.
We did lose an FTE, so we had a vacancy. That's what caused the movement.
Okay.
So we had 7.5 at the time with Toki. Matt Strong left, brought us down to 6.5. And then Toki moving over puts us right at 7. So we have a 0.5 available. And then this additional request would be another 0.5 to make it a new full-time position. So we do have a 0.5 right now. It's tough to fill 0.5 in IT. It's really kind of odd. Not a lot of people are looking for a part-time job.
So in essence, though, we could claim that other 0.5 for this year. And operate very much like we are. so right now. No?
I mean,
Yeah, probably operate how
I
we
don't know.
are right now, would it?
Well, that's what I'm trying to,
But-
from a staffing thing, is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
see, guess.
I mean, there's a 0.5 available, but like I said, I don't know if I can fully utilize that because it's only part-time.
That's what I thought. If you can't fully utilize a
I mean-
part-time person.
You could argue like that could be a full-time person given that there's been a vacancy. I don't know how that calculates. But then that would mean you'd have to commit to someone the following subsequent year, and that'd be kind of weird to go from like a full-time and then down to a part-time or something like that, depending on what you decide.
And right now you have how many staff?
Currently I have 7 FTE, including myself.
Including yourself.
But started this fiscal year with 7.5,
Correct.
and then because of the staff loss and reclassification. I can't imagine IT has gotten easier in the last.
Oh, I'm
In the last
saying it
year.
got easier. No, we've had some pretty big projects.
And the trend is, obviously, we keep getting busier. I think that's just the trend. And I mean, our help desk ticket count has gone up every year. And obviously, we knew that was coming with this additional support of the sheriffs. And we just got lots of projects. I mean, we're here to support everyone else, and we're going to keep doing it regardless. So, yeah.
You do a great job at it.
I think to your point, that I think we are sort of a bit of a crossroads of either we add the 15,932, we add the part-time, or we just eliminate the other half. Like there's no point in just leaving a ghost part-time position if there's no realistic expectation we're gonna be able to fill it.
Well, I agree with that. That was really the question, kind of. It was just like, do we wait a year and evaluate where things are with Toby here now? And that does give us that 0.5, like you said, you reclaim, so to speak.
Yeah.
Unless that could be an intern type thing.
True.
And we've had, this past summer, we had our very first intern, so, and we were planning on doing that. I think that was outside of this 0.5. That we had funding for an intern. It's only a temporary intern for like maybe 3 months, if that.
Yeah.
Well, would that help with your calls, or if you had a part-time in the morning, just to help with calls coming in?
I mean, it could. It's just, I mean, any help is appreciated, of course. It's just, like I said, it's a very odd position to fill when it's only a part-time. Because like, we can't say all our problems happen in the morning. I mean, fires happen all day, 24/7. So that's the only unfortunate nature of the industry. So.
But you don't think the part-time having a half,
We can certainly consider the idea if that's what you'd like us to kind of look into. I would just say that filling position might be very difficult.
Have you thought of any other department? Is there another opportunity within the county? I can't imagine that where there's another collaborative opportunity.
Oh, like another split kind of?
Yeah.
I haven't looked into that. I mean, you can certainly consider that.
what do you mean where somebody's got the IT
Another-
experience?
Another 50-50, kind of like the Toki situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a possibility. We can certainly consider it.
You'd know probably better than anybody if we've got the expertise on staff.
Well, there's a few people I'm not gonna say it out loud. It's good. I don't want to steal from another department, so that's.
No, that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That sharing thing's kind of got into this position. Yeah,
Yep.
okay, well.
I guess
we
I'd
can
rather
wait
hold on it.
We can wait on it. It was just like,
Yeah.
that's, yeah. Mhm.
Any other questions I can answer for you guys?
No, we'll hold on yours for now. Thank you. Justin, be back, or we want to take it? Okay. You've got to be here, leave at 11:30, so we might cover some ground at 11 until then. Or not. And then it's back tomorrow
Yeah.
morning at 10.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I did send Michelle an email, it was late last night, so I don't expect, and I was in this morning and saw that you were messing with printers and all sorts of stuff, so there's no expectation,
It
but.
was a Murphy's Law
Yeah,
morning.
I get it.
But I do have it.
Oh, you do, okay, okay, well, I do think that is maybe, at some point, I think before we get too far into how far we whittle, just to, and I haven't seen it, so, just to sort of take a look at how we've finished previous years.
yeah, that's what, yeah, we were talking about.
I hate
it a little
the,
bit
I hate the
yesterday.
rollover term, I'm sure there is a more accurate term that Michelle would prefer, but
So we decided to leave the FTE on it for now for discussion. Just kind of to think about it or whatever, so we didn't take any action.
Okay.
Just saying.
So if we're looking, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what was your comment to Michelle?
well, just to ask how we've performed at the end of fiscal years over the last, if there
Like-
are rollover dollars and if there's a,
Kind of like we did when we
Sheet.
came to the end of last year and we started looking at those funds and that final.
yeah, sort of
She
what that's,
probably isn't ready to do that today, though, you mean?
I don't know, I thought she said that she,
Well, I thought I might be,
okay,
I don't know, now it's missing, so.
okay, well,
Should be-
again,
This is common.
I asked it late,
Yes,
so.
Whittle too much, maybe.
It just, the mornings have gone smoothly till this morning and then, you know, it's just how it works. Want to flip that back on, please, Al? This is a slide you've actually seen before. And I think we're gonna focus really on the line at the bottom in the dark blue, the unassigned balance.
Mhm.
So from 24 to 25, that went down $998,121. So, and we have been kind of wanting to draw that down some, so we did get that done for 2025. 2024, which was really my first budget. Not that that matters, but it did, it was a learning process for me too. Our unassigned balance actually rose by $612,819. Again, we're on that dark blue row towards the bottom. And then you have one more year. And again, the dark blue at the bottom, it rose $390,287. So that is the 3-year history. I don't think there's a lot of value in going back past that because we were not really capturing all the things that we should have been in some of the other categories. And as you move those to the other categories, then your unassigned goes down, right? So these years are relatively comparable, but I would not recommend going back further than that.
So they were 396 something.
Yep,
the other
612.
two, 612.
Yep, and then down 998. I did create a slide. It was not cooperating with me this morning, so this is hard to read and I couldn't get any numbers on here. But the unassigned is the blue kind of in the middle there. Well, actually, yeah. And the total is that dark blue. You can see it has dropped significantly since 2023, the total, which we know it has because we took in the ARPA revenue replacement dollars and then we're spending them. So we are trying, to get that spent down. But the unassigned, because I put the total on here, it's kind of hard to follow to see it, but it is declining. You can see it in 23, it went up slightly in 24 and then drops at 25. And that's showing, the slight increase of the 600, then down for the million. Those are probably the most important ones to talk about. I was trying to get the others on here, but I think it's cluttering up the message.
I think unsigned and restricted are awfully close in colors.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, I was having a hard time with that too. I was trying to change those this morning. Didn't go well.
So the 998 from 25.
Yeah, from 24 to 25 is a drop of the.
Yeah, and that would have largely been that one-time UNI payment.
Not you and I,
assuming-
you and I was 2024. That's really probably
That court works.
the court works.
Okay.
Well, yeah, yes, I think 25 is court works, yes. We'd been virtually at zero prior to that.
Sorry, virtually at zero.
If we hadn't made the commitment to the court works, our change of fund balance would have been virtually zero. I mean, $2,000 under, so.
So the budgets are,
Well, they have,
they're close to right-sized.
there's changes in them,
Yep.
but yeah, they net out. I mean, our interest revenue has been dramatically over budget the last couple of years, but we're trying to true that up
Yep.
more. So we did move it up a chunk for the 27 budget. Not knowing what the economy holds for us in the future, but we're assuming a reduction, plus we don't have as much ARPA on deposit anymore, so there's all kinds of changes that impact that. And the vacancies have been pretty consistent at the million or between $1 million and 1.1 every year for the last several years, so that hasn't hurt us, I guess, that we have been budgeting less property tax than we would need if we were fully staffed.
So it was seeing those numbers and seeing where we ended was.
Yeah,
what you
I was just,
requested,
yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
it was something else.
Yep.
I'll probably try to work on it. I think the line graph is helpful with this, it didn't work out the
It
way
is,
I
we
hoped
just
this
need to
morning,
be-
so I might refine that a little bit for you
Yeah.
at some point.
So larger.
Yeah, that too, yes.
Larger lines and yellow.
Larger and
green.
thicker and, yeah, maybe has some text boxes with numbers in
That's
it, some
right.
things like that.
And you say we have all that information.
You do, but I didn't get the 3 slides with all the numbers printed, but I can get that out to you.
Well, even if they're on one or whatever, but I just, yeah, whatever makes it easiest to get it out.
Yeah, I'll get it out to you. Yep.
Alright, so if our goal is just to reduce, to get down to the tax asking cap, the largest thing I see on here is the community service funding, which is 100,000. So to me, it seems like the most obvious thing to take off of tax askings as we work our way down. So we eliminate Pinecrest, that takes us down to 232-ish. And so we've got a ways to go. So,
Well, the 2 choices you've made now, there's 195 left, if your goal is to get that to 0. That's the question, is that your goal?
I thought it was.
That was your goal.
What?
It was your goal.
Well,
I
I
was
think
gonna
it's
say
my job to show you that hole
that,
and then.
yes, and then if we want to go to that goal, kinda see, that's hard to,
Yeah. So there's.
that's why we're looking at other numbers.
Item 9, it says increased deputy portions charged to rural fund. What does that, is that from 80 to 85?
Correct.
And the benefits that go with that are that 37, just because
Right.
they follow it.
Yep.
So what number would we be at now, Michelle?
197,901. But that's if you don't, there's another version of this, that the title at the top is with additions from the board decisions needed worksheet. If you remember, we had a different worksheet last week talking about choices you needed to make. So that adds in, unfortunately going the wrong direction, it adds in 50,000 for Gross Cedar Valley and 15,800 to increase the transfer to the rural fund. So then those two things would increase your total whole, if you will, to 299,664. And I don't know if you're making any of those, I put them on here because those were
Because
choices you
request
need
we
to
had
make,
there.
yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
And I know when we had some discussion too on the community funding itself, which that sometimes had included Gross Cedar Valley. Other times, and I know there's been discussion of having them separate or whatever from the community funding requests too, so there might be some big discussion on that, if not today, but sometime soon, probably.
Where am I, Michelle, where am I missing that $36,000?
Yeah. Public health.
Okay.
Position change, yeah,
All right. Math
It
checks.
is, that's why.
and I'll get an updated thing out to you, so you can see that. That was not on here because that originated from the department.
But yeah, not only you're just taking those off, as
Yeah,
you see them, so, yeah, you can just see it. And the more we whittle down that number is great, but it was just like we do know that this number would be taken from reserves if we didn't whittle it at all. Not, I mean, even though those are different, I know that's adding, because I know.
Yeah, well, whichever number, if it's the,
It's like where we want to fit. Well, Gross Cedar Valley's always asked us for 50,000, and we've always given about half. Even if we kept that in as their request, and that's what they do every year. So that maybe wouldn't have to be added quite at that amount, but that's, so.
right, yeah,
And
one of those choices you need to make.
Yes, and my other question on the, including it in the community funding was that when they were one of the applicants, and then we just, we did it a different way this year, then we looked at them, scored, and they didn't rise to the 17 that we chose, and then we did them separately when they came with the proposal.
Yeah, I think the different, to me, it would seem that the difference was that previously it was, when we funded them before, it has been contribution to efforts versus a contract for service, so I do feel like there's a bit of a difference there,
I think
where there is room for, I think, there's always been a contract.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say,
get
it always
that,
had to be the contract for services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes. What they've talked about for us and the services that they would render to us has been different with what they proposed, working with action planning team, with some of the ordinance change. If there's potential for ordinance changes, some of those pieces, I think there was you threw out an email of an idea for more deliverables. So I do think that there's maybe feels a little different than what we've funded previously, but.
And I'm not saying it doesn't, I'm just saying we've supported them, and I thought, and it was for the services, like I said, for the work that they do for our community. This way, I've always thought that's kind of what we were supporting as well. And not that it can't vary. The initiative right now that has got my interest was the Count Me In, obviously, and the growth of the community and how much that we recognized that when we did our exercises with the strategic planning, and everybody recognized that and the growth that we wanted to see here, and we'd like to have a part in supporting that or whatever we were to. A part of me likes what maybe there's something in their initiative that would do that. But there's also a committee that we have, an action committee that's working on how to support, with how we'll support economic development was one of those 4 priorities. And seeing what maybe they would like to do as well, is outside the Gross Cedar Valley contribution, but seeing if we wanna fund something, or if it's just gonna be how we support it as a county, or how we support it as a group of individuals on that committee. I don't know, it's so early in the process yet, we haven't been able to determine that. And not just for them, for any of the action committees, guys. So, I have a variety of thoughts on the Gross Cedar Valley, but that was, like I said, to support them, but support maybe something else that we wanna do. I'm just weighing. But to budget for it, 50, I'm not sure I'm there yet.
Yeah, I agree. So we either have to make cuts to get to zero, or we can just pull out of reserves and then make everybody happy.
Everybody but Michelle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, we're gonna sit here all day
I'm
and
gonna choke
accomplish
now.
nothing. Sure.
I mean, I think.
Yeah, that's what we wanna do, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess what's the happy point, the midpoint that we can reach between reserves and budget?
Well, so like looking at item 9 and 10, is there, I would offer a motion to increase deputy portions charged to rural funds as well as benefits from 80 to 85%.
Chris, I would second that motion.
And we can always reduce it or change it back next year. I mean, we know that those are the.
Sure.
I guess not always, right, Michelle?
Not always.
I don't think
That gets
this
us-
kind of change is hard to reverse, yes.
And
But
Nate,
we did just add an additional 125 from, I believe, sales tax. From lost revenue, we added an additional 125 into the rural basic and rural, well,
Yeah,
rural
but
basic.
that doesn't, it's out the allocation part, yeah.
There's a motion and a second.
It was. Yeah. I was gonna say, I didn't know if you were gonna change it or anything else. Please.
and that gets us 126,000
Well, it get us 90,000 closer in general basic. We still, yeah.
Ready for a vote? Any questions?
Nate's not still here, is he?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Oh,
Hey, hiding back there.
you were
Keep an eye line over there.
you were comfortable at 80 before. I guess I just want to get one last before we move forward on this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, other than committals and stuff, I mean, 100% of our responsibilities are to the county. Obviously, we spend some time in town, whether it's helping Waterloo, Cedar Falls, the other agencies around, doing other things, doing follow-up in town. But, I mean, obviously, our responsibility is to the rural community, so.
And this doesn't take it to 100%, right? Recognizing that there is some work.
Right, there's,
Right.
I mean, yeah, to say we spend 100% of our time in the county would be
Sure, yeah.
inaccurate. I mean, I don't have the numbers for what it is, but, I mean, it's gotta be up around there, like I said, it's literally 100% of our responsibility is the county, so. I guess my biggest concern would be, and like Michelle said, we're already running into that rural cap, but that's a board of supervisors thing and not a county sheriff thing, so. So you guys worry about that.
What do we do in those cases, Michelle?
What,
When you hit the cap?
well, then you get to have this conversation again about either reducing things or,
That's what I mean.
Using
Is it
fund
we
balance,
can reduce
I
it,
mean.
yeah, so we can reduce it just as well as we can increase it.
Yep.
All right. You want to vote? Are you ready to vote or no?
Yeah, if we need to. Well,
All right, Karen, roll call vote.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Kurtenbach,
yes.
Brant,
No.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Benefits.
Yeah, that was 9 and 10, so then that 37, 558 from supplemental.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
I don't
what else?
think next year you're gonna have much choice in that matter. I think 85 is capping that.
All about choices. Anything else on the sheet we want to, like, say, other elected official pay changes, you've got other department head pay changes, other pay changes?
Yeah, I think you need to probably wait for Amanda.
Oh, if that's what the ones, yeah, we do for anything she was gonna present today. Other than-
18, the Grove Cedar Valley, as much as I'd like to say that we could do the 50,000, I'm wondering if we do 30,000 this year. Instead of the 50,000.
I think that would probably, probably make more sense. With the contract that we're gonna draw up for them, how does that typically go? Like, whether it's them or any other organization in the past?
It's usually been a timeline that when I've dealt with them in the past.
Michelle and Mike usually work on the contracts.
Okay.
So, and it would be, I suppose, what the board would want, if it was something different or unique or whatever, that was what your work session you wanted to discuss in a work session, was it not?
Yeah, it would,
At a later
Yeah,
time, we wanted to
yeah.
have that before we did the contract with them.
yes. So maybe, because when are we looking at getting that thing drawn up?
Well, the one for this year,
For 27?
oh, for 27, that won't be for till July
It would
1.
be nice to get it done this spring if we can get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, in
Okay.
the spring, yeah. Put it on your calendar. Yeah. Okay, and then we have the contract for this year. That you're doing fairly soon, yeah.
That's not, so probably, I don't know if you want to have a work session on what goes in that
I
contract
think-
as well.
I don't know, was that the one you're thinking about, the one that's current?
Yep,
I
yep.
think so.
I think we probably start from the draft that we've used in prior years that was satisfy the concerns that raised by the state auditor in the past over funding like this. I'll reiterate something I said in the past, that from a liability perspective, the best place to be is not to do this kind of funding. I don't think it's a secret to anyone on the board that that's been my position, but I think the contracts are pretty solid too.
I know that you threw out your comfort. I'd ask if we can give me at least a day to wrap my head around.
Getting there. I'd like it to be more. I'm just wondering at this point, us getting in a regular routine with this being part of the budget each year instead of doing the community funding mechanism.
Yeah.
They're always subject though to kind of like discretionary dollars, like if
Yeah.
because who knows where you'd be, but yeah. Community funding as well.
And a big part I'm concerned about this, I think we do need to be part of the Grove Cedar Valley, is knowing that some of the other counties are dealing with ordinance issues, whether it's economic development or whatever. They do offer us a tool for helping gather that information, other than us just trying to get with other counties. So knowing we have to get through and look at our ordinances in the future, I just feel this would be a viable dollars for something we need to be addressing here in the near future.
Michelle, I was gonna ask, we were talking just a little bit yesterday about other ways, like if in fact we still wanna do community funding too, or not. Could we delay the process, I guess, and I know that doesn't sound, until we see what we increase or decrease in a year, and then have funding available and decide if we wanted to do something then? I mean, not that we can't just say we don't want to do community funding requests.
Right, either
Even
way.
for this year, take a break and evaluate or whatever, we could do that.
You could, and you could do it,
Just looking at other ways.
similarly to how the library statistics work, that right now we know what we did for 25,
Mhm.
right? So you could use that for the 27, because you have that information available to you now. The 26 you won't have for, till, I don't know, no matter how hard we work, it seems to be to end December before we have final numbers. so.
But I mean, that way we wouldn't be taxing for it, we would just end up
Correct, yeah,
waiting and seeing if we
Chose to
have
take
an
it out of
increase or a
reserve.
decrease. If
Yeah.
we do, then we could use that year to say, we can fund them if we want to, if that's something we want to do. I just.
Yep.
Just a thought. Okay. That would give you 100,000 and look at it.
That's what we're about down to now, isn't it?
107,803.
What was that?
107,803.
does that add back?
Not counting
Okay,
gross
I was
center
gonna
balance
say, there's
Oh,
other things
not
I
the
want
ones
to
that
add.
in. Okay.
from what you've taken action on.
Well, you added 50, oh, you didn't add it in, you just put it there for, to be decided. Gotcha. We're gonna hold on that.
That'd be great.
So you're gonna put together some numbers for us and get us new worksheets. Thanks.
Amanda's docs
And we need,
had the difference in cost for raises.
Yeah.
she was, what she proposed, like for the elected officials and non-bargaining, that type of thing, yeah, we do have that information, yes.
Yeah, I think I would really recommend you wait for Amanda to talk
Try
about
to,
that.
if we had any questions.
Maybe she'll be back tomorrow, I don't know.
Because she had in there, yeah,
Well, we've,
2.5 and 4.
yes, hopefully back tomorrow. When do we have to be at our, what's our timeline?
I'm going to upload things before the deadline, which I think is March 5th.
And everything in salaries right now for everybody across the board is at 3%.
Yes.
Work in progress.
I appreciate that you put the 15,811 up there just because of the fact that the roads, I know that transfer has always been a percentage. And has for 13 years, and I remember last year, like I said, it was one of those things that we had some discussion on and what that percentage would be, and it was holding at that and at 97%. And I think Kathy and I, we've had, correct me if I'm wrong, either one of you, but I was gonna say, for as long as I remember, it's been the percentage, not the amount that we stuck with, is that correct? So I think that was.
Historically, yes, I agree with you. That's the way the code is written, that references the shares, the portions that the counties transfer to, the counties transfer to into the secondary road funds. The code refers to it as in a percentage, and that's typically what we've done here in the past, so just.
Yeah, well, I thank you, thank Michelle for that, because like I say, when I was looking at that and saw the number was the same, but it was just off that amount, and I was asking if she could make that correction, so. And then, like I said, we've known too, if the board ever changes that, as Kathy said before, the board wishes to change it, you can, but it's just that it stays where it is until we do the change. Thank you. Do you have enough from us, Michelle? I mean, we can hope. I know Amanda was even gonna try to go to the TED session she's got, and I'm not sure about that, I know, because she said she'd been sick all the time. But, if we have a wish list that she'll be back tomorrow, I guess everybody's still okay with the 10 o'clock tomorrow, and
Unless Amanda comes and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gets sick tonight.
stay or keep her distance,
Kidding,
come with a
Amanda,
mask, she
kidding.
needs a mask and everything. Is there anything else that we wanna, we have this information obviously that we didn't answer, but is anything else that we want for tomorrow that would help any decision needed that you want, that you guys know? This is basically if we address these items then.
Yeah, and any others, I don't know. I can update the adjustments for the couple choices you've made.
And then we'll be there.
All right.
Optimistic.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else you want to cover, Michelle? Just,
No, I think that's probably enough.
anything Anything else from the board? All right. Any reports or information from the board?
Just want to let people know tonight is our last scheduled understanding your property assessments, community town hall, Waterloo Library, 6 to 7:30. So folks didn't show up for that, share that information. The other thing, yesterday I attended the Barclay Township meeting, a good conversation with them, and then the township folks are watching legislation as well. I had several questions that came at me at their visiting with those gentlemen. And then last week we had a conversation dealing with the sound system in here with Marco. We did have a letter that came to us from Al. Just need to know if we're looking at going forward with that. We need to have that as a board agenda item to actually get that sent off.
Did he get all the information that he was going to last week? He was going to check with another vendor, check with the current vendor.
Can you give us an update as far as your letter? Is it ready to go or need more
Well, the
information?
letter's a draft, so I want you guys to kind of take a look at it and make sure it's something you guys are comfortable with. And I did send you guys the last quote, which is an old quote. I have not had a chance to check with other vendors just to kind of see what else is out there, but I guess maybe that could wait until you guys can decide on how you want to approach this. Because, I mean, there's still a chance that they could make it right, so then checking with other vendors might make it a little awkward. So, just want to be respectful of all the other vendors too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just let me know if that's something you guys are comfortable with. Said it's just a draft, and then let me know if there needs to be some changes. Get to it.
Thank you. I was going to say, Michelle, one thing for the budget too as well. We talked about fees, like IT fees and TJ's apartment.
Yeah.
Was there any information? I think TJ was talking about his budget, not putting a number in it until he talked with you.
Correct.
You had that conversation?
Yeah, I've had a conversation with the assessor, just let him know that there's a possibility that the fee can go up. I have no idea, that's obviously it's the board's decision as to what that would look like, what amount. So he at least is aware of it, but no concrete numbers, of course, so.
That's all right. I just want to mention it if we need to get with him or whatever. Because that was
I think-
something we wanted to check on.
And I think Al and TJ probably need your direction to do that, yeah. Whatever you want them to do.
I threw a number out there. Al thought it might be a little steep.
Just to make our numbers work, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else to come before the board?
Just want to ask Michelle on the opioid disbursement stuff. Dean Phelps asked me about what the timetable should be to expect when.
Good question.
Okay.
Probably as soon as budget's done.
Pretty soon. A few
Okay.
weeks.
Soon. Motion for adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
11:30.
Yeah.